Hello my friends, welcome to class. Today we are going to have a more restorative style yin class, so it will be really comfy cozy, gather all of the soft props that you have, dress super comfy, and just kind of make yourself a little oasis, a little cocoon of soft supportive things to have around you. So for reference, I've got two blankets. They don't need to be any kind of special blankets. I've got a bolster. You could also use a pillow, or if you've got some of those kind of decorative pillows, they tend to be a little bit firmer, so you might want to bring one or two of those to use in place of that. I've also got blocks. For something like this, we're not going to be doing a ton of weight bearing, so things like books, anything else that you might have that is roughly square, rectangular shaped that won't give way is fine. Although you could also just use pillows. You could grab like extra pillows from your bed to use in place of blocks for most of the ways that we'll be using them today. So yeah, gather all your supports and we'll get started. We're going to get started in a supportive child's pose. So start by bringing your knees out wide towards the outer edges of the mat. If that creates a little bit too much sensation, feel free to draw them a little bit closer. But we're going to have lots of support ideally. I'm going to go ahead and take one of my blankets and roll it up into a little burrito shape, like so. I'm going to tuck that right beneath my knees, right on top of my calves. And I'm going to draw my bolster right in between my knees, right up towards my pelvis. And today I'm going to, you can adjust your blanket wherever it moves around. I'm going to offer to add some blocks underneath your bolster. You definitely don't have to do this, especially if you don't have blocks, don't worry about it, but I'd love for you to feel the support of having something soft underneath you, so bolster or pillows stacked up or blankets stacked up here will be really nice. And finally, once you've got your supports all set up, you can start to walk your hands forward and get really settled into your pose. We're going to be here for a while, so I want you to feel as comfortable as possible. So take the first few moments of this to really intentionally set yourself up and just get settled into your space. And feel free to rest your head on one side or the other. You can kind of shift when you feel like you need to balance out the stretch in your neck. Allow everything to stay really soft here so your belly can stay soft. Big, full, expansive breaths. Soft through the muscles in your face and through your spine. And allow your breaths to come really full, really slow, really expansive. And over time you can even start to really sink into the sensation of melting into your props, allowing what you have underneath you to do all of the work. And just trust your body to be here. If you've been resting on one cheek, now might be a nice time to swap to the opposite side. And we'll rest here just a little bit longer, a few more deep breaths in and out. And begin to slowly press into your palms and walk your palms back towards your knees. And coming back to a seat, you can keep your knees wide and have the seat on your blanket like this. Feels nice to me. It's kind of a little fascial pressure on the tissues in your calves. But if you'd like, you're welcome to remove the blanket. And tuck your chin towards your chest. And take a few little half circles, taking your chin towards your right shoulder. And slowly back through center over towards your left. And finding a little release through the back of your neck, left and right sides of your neck. And keeping it really simple and soft. Move at your own pace. Feel free to pause and linger on one side, then the other. And next time you come through center, draw your head and neck up to a neutral place. We'll take just one big full circle side to side. Start on whatever side feels right to you. Draw your ear down towards your shoulder. And circle your chin to your chest. Opposite ear to opposite shoulder. And chin up towards the sky. And reverse whatever direction you didn't go in before. Ear to your shoulder. Chin to your chest. Opposite ear to opposite shoulder. And chin up towards the sky. And gently come back to neutral. Walk your hands back out. So you come into a tabletop position, hands and knees. You can set your blanket aside if you still had it behind you. And set your other props out to the side as well. We'll bring them back into play in just a moment, but give yourself a little space on the mat. And from a neutral tabletop, find some gentle cat and cow movements. Cow on your inhale, dropping your belly, opening your heart. And cat on your exhales, really rounding your spine, shoulders spread apart. Press into the earth. And continue to move at your own pace, your own breath. And if some more expansive movements feel good here, feel free to take those. If you want to keep it really simple, really gentle, feel free to do that too. Just move like yourself. Two more rounds. Full inhales, full exhales. And after that second round, I'm going to make our way onto your back. So unwind. Grab your bolster or some pillows to take with you so that you can lay that along the length of your spine. If you want a little more lift here, you could also put blocks underneath your bolster. I'm not going to do that just yet, but I will walk us through that a little while later. But for now, I want to use some blocks or pillows, if you have them, underneath my knees instead. We're coming into supported recline butterfly. So soles of your feet together, knees open, and just slide your supports, whatever you've got. Blankets folded up work great here. Pillows work great. If you've got blocks, great. Any register of your blocks is fine. You can really, stack up your other more softer supports as well so that you have the same kind of solid foundation. And when you get settled, feeling this nice little support underneath your spine, another way to do this would be rolling up your blanket in that burrito shape again. Maybe make it a little bit longer so it can take up the length of your back. And once again, just start to settle in. Make yourself comfortable. Take the first few moments to get out any little wiggles. Notice where your hands land, and if they feel good there, if you want to adjust them, feel free. And they don't have to rest on your body. You can take your arms out to the sides or up overhead if that feels good, especially if you've got like support underneath, your upper body. Having your arms out can feel like a nice little heart opener on top of the hip opener you're getting. And the gentle support underneath your spine is kind of doing that already. It's a sneaky little back bend. And every breath in, drawing awareness into the center of your heart space. Notice how you can feel just a gentle little lift. A nice sense of openness. And ideally, with the openness comes a sense of clarity and calm. Not just undoing physical tension, physical knots or sticky places in your muscles, we're also unraveling the tension in your mind, in your nervous system. It's all interwoven, interconnected. Full, steady breaths anchor you right here. If your mind starts to wander, you can bring yourself right back here to this place, this inhale, and this exhale. No judgment, no drama, just the compassionate little tug to bring you back. And we'll rest here just a few more breaths. Moving a little slower than you might want to, and begin to gently draw your knees back towards one another. And just let your knees stay bent, feet planted, and reach your arms out long overhead, big stretch. Lengthen out through your spine, your side bodies. And then pull it all into center. Knees come in towards your belly, towards your chest. You can let your knees separate a little bit. They don't have to stay glued together. And a little gentle sway side to side might feel nice here. Alternatively, if it feels really good to just kind of hug yourself in at center, feel free to linger right there. Begin to make your way up through a seat. Take any other little stretches or counter movements you might need. We're going to make our way down onto our bellies. If you had your bolster, your pillows, bring that back around. You can set blocks off to the side if you've got them. We won't need them for a little while longer. You can bring your bolster either underneath your chest, your upper body here, just kind of to rest your head and your arms on. This feels good, this is fine, but I honestly prefer it down by my side. So we're moving into half frog. So I'm gonna see how this works with my assistant here. I'm gonna draw your right knee up in line with your right hip, and you don't have to have support underneath your knee. It may feel better to you to not have something underneath it, so feel free to try both on and see what works best with the props that you have, with the space that you have, and just how your body feels today. Let your chest rest back down on the earth, and I'm going to tuck my left toes and just kind of hop my left leg out to the left side a little bit more to create some space between my hips. And with your right leg, you're creating this series of 90-degree angles, so your hip in line with your knee in line with your ankle, and then a soft little flex in your foot, especially if you feel any weird tension or kind of tingly sensations. If that starts to happen to you in your knee or in your ankle, obviously feel free to shift out of it entirely. If your body's saying this just isn't working, just shift out of it. But you can also try just bring a little more action into your foot, and sometimes that will take that pressure off of your knee and your ankle. So, my speech over, and come back down to rest. And if you've got, something underneath your knee, and you find that you do want something underneath your chest, feel free to reach, maybe you've got an extra blanket. I'm going to unravel that so I've got a little more cushion underneath my chest and my belly. then to gently lift your head and your chest back up. And start to straighten your right leg out long behind you. And find some gentle little windshield wipers in your knees side to side. And we'll shift right into the opposite side. Half frog on your left. So I'm going to bring my bolster over to the left side by my hip. And you might notice, side to side in your body that maybe you don't want the support on this side where you had it before, or vice versa. Maybe you didn't. This side it feels better. Just trust that. Trust your body. It doesn't have to be, perfect mirror image side to side. So bring left knee up in line through left hip. I'm going to do that same thing where I kind of scoot my right leg away, create some space between my hips. And check in with your little 90-degree angles. And then just settle yourself back down. We're keeping it low and slow, keeping it real relaxed. If you were resting on one cheek the entire time on the opposite side, maybe swap that cheek here. Notice if you might be holding on to tension in your face here. You can kind of physically relax, release your jaw, unclench your teeth. We'll be here on this side just another breath or two longer. And gently begin to come back towards center. Straighten your left leg out long behind you. And maybe take some windshield wipers on your knees side to side. And palms by your chest. Or really however you want to get there. Press yourself up, back through a seat. We're going to make our way back down to our backs. Bring our blocks back into play if you've got them. If you don't, I'm going to walk through a couple of different options for how to set up for your next pose. So, first option, take one of your blankets, roll that guy up, set your blanket up so it's more on your upper back. Ideally, if you've got 2 blankets, you can take your other blanket, roll it into a little burrito as well. This one is going to go horizontal, so it's more for your lower back. And just go ahead and lay on back so the base of your spine is against your first blanket, and ideally your second blanket will catch your upper back and your noggin. You can keep your knees bent, or you can stretch your legs out long. You could also come back into a butterfly shape with your legs, soles of your feet together, knees open. So that's one variation. Another, and this is the one that I'm going to settle into personally. If you've got a bolster and some books, or a bolster and some blocks, either one should be fine. I'm going to set up, essentially we're in supported fish. So if you know that posture and you have your own variation of setting up that you want to get into, please feel free. I'm going to set my blocks up like a T shape. So the first block on the middle register, second block on the highest register. And I'm going to take my bolster, lay it so that it's in kind of a little ramp against my blocks. And this is a lot steadier than it may feel when you start to lay back on it, so don't worry about it being a little wobbly. That is a-okay. I set my blankets to the side, but I'll offer another nice little thing you can do with your blanket. Start to settle your spine down on your bolster, on your blocks. I'm going to keep my knees in kind of a constructive rest position, knees together, feet apart. Again, you can also stretch your legs out long or come back in towards a butterfly shape. I'm going to take one of my blankets and just lay it across my belly, my hips, my chest. It's nice, nice and grounding. You could cover your whole body up if you are chilly, or if you just want to, be a little cozy. And we're going to settle in here for the remainder of class. So I am essentially offering this pose into Shavasana to stay here. If it's really comfortable for you, ideally it's really supported and comfy. If it's a pose that you want to hang out in for a little while, but you find that your body is asking to adjust and get more comfortable for your final rest, then whenever you're ready, shift into that position instead. Your hands can be by your side, they can rest on your body. You can also take them overhead, maybe opposite hand to opposite elbow. And this isn't something that feels good to me to rest in for the entire time, but it's a nice little extra heart opening stretch if you are craving a bit more sensation. But my overall intention for this class was to keep it more on the restorative side, more relaxed, so do what feels right to you. Taking the first few moments, as always, to get out the wiggles, find what feels best. And allow yourself the gift of surrender to this moment, the shape, sensation of being supported. You can kind of start to withdraw from your senses and trust that all you have to do is be here and breathe, and that I will guide us back into this physical space when it's time. very gently, very slowly, begin to wake up your body. And press yourself up and off of your props. If your knees are not bent, go ahead and bend your knees. And come into caterpillar. Wrap your arms around the backs of your knees. Just let your shoulders round, spread apart. And slowly release, come all the way back up. If you've got your blanket, you can kind of fold it up, sit on the edge of it. And just coming back into a comfortable seat to close together. Next, inhale, arms out, long to the side, up overhead. Palms come together, down to your heart center. Breath of acknowledgement, gratitude for yourself, showing up, creating some space. And inhale, thumbs up to third eye, center of your forehead. And I bow my head with the deepest gratitude to all of you. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. And please remember that inside of your space and outside of your space, you are always seen, heard, and loved. Thank you. As always, my friends, it is a joy and a privilege to be able to guide you through some postures, and hopefully you're feeling very relaxed, very connected to yourself. Happy New Year, and I hope that we will see a lot more of each other this year. Thank you.